How's it going, y'all? Welcome to the Gil Podcast. This podcast is about me, Gil, and the things that I'm currently obsessed with. On today's episode, I want to go over what I have been up to. I haven't podcasted it in a while, but I still have been creating. I still have been putting my thoughts and my ideas out there on the internet. A lot of people take breaks from podcasting, and I'm doing a lot of stuff, and not podcasting. I'm producing podcasts for other people, but not myself. And I really miss just sitting here with my thoughts and my ideas and sharing them with y'all. So I made a list of the things that I want to go over, and I want to talk about my studio space and how I have changed it and evolved it to help me be more efficient. I also want to talk about me producing podcasts in here for clients. I have multiple clients that I produce podcasts for. I want to talk about that workflow. I want to talk about my life schedule, like work life. I still have a full-time job. I'm married. I have a life. I have friends. I have a personal life. And I also want to talk about working with creators and non-creators and how it's kind of annoying working with non-creative clients or just clients in general, and how I'm pretty much done with it. It's exhausting. And I want to talk about my experience where my head is at in regards to working with clients and why I think it's the worst thing ever currently. All right, let's jump into it. First thing first, I do apologize for the people that have been waiting and asking me to podcast. And the reason why I haven't been able to is because just time and commitment, and I really wasn't that committed to the podcast, and I didn't really see it as impactful. And recently someone told me, "Hey man, I love the stuff that you're doing. I feel like you're so passionate and honest and transparent about your creative endeavors, but I don't necessarily get to hear it or feel it because you don't really post much. You just, do a little BTS, an IG reel. You can deliberate on YouTube, but you don't necessarily have the time to express yourself a little bit." And I'm like, I get that. And I was listening to a live stream, and they were talking about how you really don't have the time you pretty much have to sell on Instagram and sell on YouTube, right? Like you're pretty much fighting for somebody's attention. And I can kind of show my personality on Instagram stories. That's like the place where I'll post throwaway posts about the things that I'm doing, but you can't necessarily throw personality on a YouTube video or a reel too much. I don't know, maybe I could be wrong, but this gentleman was telling me he misses my podcast and he misses my insight and thoughts and ideas about things that I'm doing. And he'll see the stuff that I'm posting and he'd be like, "Dude, I'd love to hear you talk about this on a podcast." Cause we have the time, you don't have to talk about it. Like a podcast could be 30 minutes or an hour and we're just chilling. So pretty much I just haven't really been feeling like it because I had a wrong thought. I didn't really think I was making much of an impact, but now I understand. The podcast needs to exist and it needs to continue, and I'll make time for it. So that's that. Let's talk about work. I still have a full-time job. I literally just got off work. Maybe it's 3:30 a.m. and I just got off work maybe an hour and a half ago. Yeah, I still have a full-time job, and what I do full-time, for those of you who are new, I am an industrial forklift mechanic. I work on industrial rolling equipment. It's a really fun, interesting job, and the job quite literally bleeds into the real world, which is fantastic sometimes. My job requires me to have a lot of common sense, a lot of analytical skills, a lot of problem solving, a lot of hands-on mechanical, electrical work is just problem solving. How can we eliminate this problem? Can we find patterns? It's literally the best. I always wanted to become, when I came to America as a kid, I really wanted to become a detective. And because I like solving problems, I like learning. I love finding solutions to problems and stuff. And what I do full time quite literally feeds that need to learn, grow, share thoughts and ideas. And that's what I do full time. So a lot of people say, I know you can't wait to like leave your full time job. I'm like, I'm kind of lucky in a way that my full time job literally helps me become a better person for my community. I'm learning as I'm working. It's the best. It's not the best working environment. I mean, I'm in a hot room. I come home, covered it with oil, dirt, debris, burnt, you know, but my heart is filled. I have a great team of people who I work with, and I can't ask for a better opportunity than that. I've been with this company going on 14 years. So, yeah, I think I'm good, but it does take a lot of my time in regards to creating content. And I didn't want to talk about this too long, but I just thought I'll share that with y'all. And content, believe it or not, like content creating is on my mind every single day, even while I'm at work sometimes. But it's kind of hard for me to do what I do. That's why I schedule out my work, my content creator work. And I've been trying to literally coach some of my friends to become, you know, podcast producers, editors, or whatnot, but it's like not their passion. So what I've been wanting to do is like, while I'm working at my job, I can send over a file to a friend or an assistant and have them, get this project ready or expedited. So when I get off work, I can do step one or step two, but it's so hard. It's like, if it's not your thing, if you're not into it, you're not into it. Like a lot of my friends will take me to football games or take me to the bar and watch a football game, and I'll try to get into it. Like this is what they like. And it's like, I don't, I don't get it for me. So it's like, I'll try to like it because I know that they like it. But if you don't like it or don't understand it, it's not you. And it's the same thing for me when it comes to, that's how I understand it. When I'm like showing my friends, dude, I made like $5,000 producing podcasts. Don't you want to do this? Like I made $5,000 in a week or something, let's say as an example. And I'll tell a friend and she'll be like, I don't have it in me to even like know what to do. They want to learn, but they don't want to take, they won't do what it takes to learn. And I had a friend who works at my job. He's like, dude, wait, you just posted this today. You posted you producing a podcast and then you came to work. I'm like, yeah, it's one of those things where like you have to do it. And I'm working solo, and I want to talk about my studio space. I've built it. I've built this studio space so that it works for me. I can just, when clients hit me up, hey, I want to record in your studio. Great. Send you an invoice. They pay the invoice, send them the information that they need to get here, where they need to park and everything like that. They come upstairs into my studio. I hit record, camera's already rolling, and that's it. Then I give them the file. Depending on the package that they set for, I have packages where I don't edit the video. I just give them the video as is. They do whatever they need. They add their lower thirds. They do whatever. And that's the best one for me, where it's just super turnkey, low stress. I love that one. The ones that kind of, some clients opt for me to edit the podcast for them. It really takes a lot out of me sometimes. So there are a lot of times where I say, hey, we're going to just do a bare minimum editing. A lot of people, they want the videos to be a certain way. They need lower thirds. They need intro, outro. It's not hard at all. I just got to do it. It just takes a lot of time because, like I said earlier, I still have a full-time job. I still have a personal life, and I want to create my own content. So the way that I have the the setup here set up for client work is, again, they come up here. I have a camera, a Sony A7 IV with a 16 to 35 millimeter lens, f-stop, f number at f number. sound like a newbie. F-stop at f4, and that's the aperture. And I'm kind of like, because I'm speaking in a way that, because I know I'm going to have new creators listening to this. So I'm going to say the aperture, the f-stop, all that's the same stuff. So f4, and I think the ISO really just depends on which client it is. It's not really set to a specific number. So I have one camera that's 16 to 35, which is a wide angle. And then I have two Sony A7Cs with a 50 millimeter f1.4. That's for the close up. And that allows me to have like the super blurry background when I set it at f1.4. It's just so clean. Like, a lot of my clients will say, "Oh my gosh, I just love how they don't even know what they're saying. I like how you delete the background." I'm like, huh? They say, "I like how you remove the background." I'm like, what are you talking about? I know what they're talking about. But they'll say, "I like how you, like, the background is there, but it's not there." I'm like, okay, I get what you're saying. But it's just weird how people would place things in their minds, or phrase things. That's what I want to say. It's weird how people phrase things when they don't really understand the dynamics of a situation. It's just, how I delete the background. That's what? It's just hilarious. But yeah, so the A7C, one will be on each guest. I have two chairs in my studio space. And what is it? The 180 rule. So I have one camera facing one person. One camera on the left will face the person on the right. I think I got it. Yeah. Camera on the right will face the guest on the left, and the camera on the left will face the person on the right. So it's like an X. So the cameras like cross each other in a way. It just kind of helps the visual aspect while I'm switching. It looks like you're there. You understand where everybody else is sitting. And then I have the camera in the middle, which is the Sony A7 IV, and it captures the entire room. So I don't have SD cards in the cameras. I actually have HDMI cables that comes out of the cameras that goes straight into this thing called a video switcher. This video switcher pretty much takes 8 HDMI, so it could take 8 cameras, and it has the ability to allow me to plug in a SSD, which is like a hard drive, right? So I'm able to record a video, like all the camera angles. So I'm able to record all the video signals that's plugged into this video switcher. The video switcher is the Ecamm Mini Extreme ISO. It's a long name. I just say video switcher because this one is great. This one is really dope. I always wanted this one. I remember I have the Ecamm Mini, which is a 4 HDMI video switcher. So it allows you to take 4 HDMI signals or 4 cameras, and you're able to like do the switching. But the difference between, so you say like, "Go Gil, the Extreme ISO is $1,300. Why would you pay $1,300 for 8? You don't need 8 camera angles. You're using 3 right now. Why do you need 8? Well, my friend, the Ecamm Mini does do what the Ecamm Mini Extreme ISO does, but the Ecamm Mini Extreme ISO has a couple of features that the Ecamm Mini doesn't have. And that is being able to have 2 HDMI out plus 2 USB-C out. And also I'm able to record individual videos, or like in each HDMI source individually, versus the Ecamm Mini, the regular one, for like $200, where you only, I think it's $295. The $295 variant only allows you to record what you switch into. So as you switch into camera 1, it captures that. It captures every switch, but it doesn't record the camera angles individually. So let's say you're doing a podcast with Michelle Obama and Obama, and you swap over to Michelle, and then you prematurely swap to Obama, he's digging in his nose. You can't undo that if you weren't recording into the cameras. So if you had a camera with SD cards, yeah, you'd be able to like pull the original source and then, go over and edit it. But that pretty much is going to take a lot of time and it's annoying. So I basically record all the camera angles and I try to switch live, which is sometimes great. So because I can just open up a DaVinci Resolve file, because at the end of me recording and switching all the camera angles with the A10 Mini Extreme ISO, I get a Resolve file. Blackmagic, which is the company that makes the A10 Mini, also have a video software called why am I blinking right now? It's called DaVinci Resolve, and you get this file that has all of the video information. Like it has all the camera angles that you switched into and everything. And I didn't add this. I also have my Rodecaster Pro, the audio that feeds into the A10 Mini Extreme ISO. So that means I don't have to sync audio later. It's already there. It's freaking amazing. All right. So that's the video switcher process. And I always have my 34-inch ultra wide monitor turned to the side, and I'm able to like monitor each camera angle with my A10 Mini Extreme ISO. Because it has 2 HDMI out, I'm able to show my clients with another 24-inch monitor. They can see themselves. They can see what camera angle is currently on. But on my 34-inch, I don't know if you're following me here, on my 34-inch, I'm able to see all the camera angles and all the audio sources. So I can see, yeah, we're recording. Yes, camera 1 is good. Camera 2 is good. Oh, camera 3 is out of focus. Let's fix that. Or if somebody's doing something on camera 1, I can swap over to camera 2 till whatever is happening, camera 1 is done, so it's great. Everything is like really like cohesive. And the most recent things that I've added to the space was given to me by Elgato. Elgato went out of their way to give me what's it called? Wow, I'm blanking. Guys, it's 4 a.m. and I'm filled with excitement. I could have recorded this podcast, in another time, but I don't think I would have had the opportunity to. I just want this idea is in my brain fresh right now. So I'm like, let me get this out. So the Elgato prompter just came out, and I was blessed to be a few of the creators that they gave it to. And when they sent it to me, I was super excited and I was using it, but not in the traditional way that I'll use a teleprompter. Like this isn't a teleprompter you just, bring on the field. But I did. I brought it on set with clients. I brought it to my clients' offices. I've done plenty of client work with the prompter. I've used it for my YouTube videos. I'm using it now. Even though this is an audio podcast, I have notes up so I can look at the notes and be more organized. So Elgato also sent me a bunch of other stuff like the Elgato Stream Deck XL. I already owned a Stream Deck, and it's funny because the regular Stream Deck was a gift from a random new friend who I met at a bar. I just so happened to be at this bar and I was celebrating. What was it? I don't remember what it was. I think it was like a spelling bee that this local winery was having. And I doubled up and said, hey, I'm going to attend, but I'll also, that's what it was. Sorry. I was hired to do photos or videos. I was hired to do photos and videos for this winery, and they were doing a spelling bee contest. So I said, I'll film it. And also, hey, can I sell my word search book? I have a photography word search book that I created, and I brought a bunch of them, and I was handing them out to some of the winners or selling them to whomever would be interested in buying. and I gave it to one of the winners. And the winner, she said, "Hey, you do content?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do content." She checked out my YouTube videos. She checked out my podcast, and she's like, "You do you have a stream deck?" I'm like, "No, I don't, but you'll be great to have one day." She's like, "I got one. It's in a box. I don't use it. I'm going to give it to you." And I gave her my information, and she shipped it off to me. And it was like awesome. So the stream deck that I've been using was just a traditional, I think it's like a 12 button layout, but now I have this big old 32 button one, and it's amazing. Elgato also sent me the Elgato low profile arms. These arms, I remember there's this YouTuber, amazing YouTuber, streamer, Kombucha. She was, she got the low profile arms. She was like doing a live stream, and I think it was an unboxing or something. And I remember just looking at the arms and I'm like, these are so beautiful. I always wanted them, never got a chance to like invest in them. But now Elgato sent me two of those. They also sent me two wave arms. One of the wave arms I have bolted onto another addition to my studio, my Husky workbench. So I bolted one of the wave arms onto my workbench, and I have it holding up a camera for a overhead rig, actually. So when I got the Husky workbench, to pause on Elgato real quick, when I got the Husky workbench, I was looking up overhead camera rigs because that's what you do. Like, you have a workbench in a photography, content creator studio, you get an overhead rig. I mean, it just makes sense. I'm surprised Husky doesn't sell a content creator version. Here's an idea, marketing team. Hope you're listening. I'm surprised Husky doesn't sell like a creator edition of their workbench with an overhead rig or stuff. Anyways, I noticed that the overhead rig will take up a lot of real estate on my workbench because I'm actually a person who works on stuff like my desk. I build stuff. I build camera rigs and stuff. So I would hate for my workbench that I paid a lot of money for to just house and, take up and have a overhead camera rig on there, and it'll take up space, and I wouldn't be able to, build cameras or build stuff or work on things or tinker with things because I'll have this overhead rig that I'll rarely use on this workbench. And it wouldn't look good on camera. That's another thing. Like, one of the things that I think about a lot is, how would this look on camera? I'm a content creator. I know how things will look, which is why I was so reluctant to like show my desk. My desk is like the only thing I'm ashamed of in here. Is not the prettiest. I have like not the best cable management because there's a lot of things that just move and like get up and go. But as I have been producing content here, have said no to a lot of remote work. If you see me outside of my studio, know that I was paid pretty well because to unplug a lot of these wires and lights, it's a pain. It's a pain in the butt, and having insurance to cover in case of, damages or theft, it's just know that I was compensated well. If you see me outdoors with my content creation stuff. Anyways, this overhead camera rig has been like in my mind. Like, I'm like, I want to do it. And Brandon Washington, he's this YouTuber, great content creator, filmmaker. I saw him have a Husky workbench and he bought an overhead camera rig. And I'm like, "Ugh, this will be cool." But I also don't want to copy people. I am one of those people where it's like, genuinely, I'm an artist. I'm a creative. Not to brag or anything, but I've had two pieces of art in art museums, while I was in school, years ago. Um, I've published two books. I have a book of poems. I'm an artist at the end of the day. And the way that I see things is different. So why would I want to take something that I see other people doing when I know that I can? Why would I just see something that everybody else is doing be lazy about it and just do what they're doing. No, I'm going to take a spin and put my spin on it. So I saw that, wait a minute, I can just drill a freaking hole into my wave arms and drill it into my workbench. And it worked. And it looks really slick. So when I need to, use the overhead camera rig, it works. I can just get it working. So yeah. Oh, okay. Let's get back to Elgato. Elgato also sent me a couple of their microphones, the Wave DX mic. They also sent 2 wave arms, and one of them, like I said, is drilled to the Husky workbench. They sent 2 key lights. They basically saw a video that I filmed, and this is really important right here. So I want to look at the date. Let's look at the date that I published this video. We're going to do this live. I made a video about the Elgato prompter. We're looking at this live right now. My internet is really slow. I made a video about the Elgato prompter in November 5th. And November 5th, and I want to tell you exactly when somebody from Elgato contacted me about said video. Oh, let's look at how many views that video got, because that's another thing. That's another important thing. So the video of my Elgato prompter got, at the time, it wasn't that much. I think it had maybe like 500 or 400 views. Now it's at 1,000. To me, that's a lot. I don't really have a lot of videos that hit that much. But then again, with something like that, like a product like that, of course, it's going to hit. It's something that's new. And just to give you an idea, in November, I didn't own the prompter. So let's see. So that was November. So that was November 5th. December 13th, someone from Elgato DM'd me and said, "Hey, I loved your prompter video. I would love to send you one." And I'm like, what? This is fake. Okay, annoying because this thing is not even out yet. Whatever. I'm very skeptical. But long story short, this person worked for Elgato, reached out to me, and he just said, "Hey, you're very authentic in your video. You displayed how you'd use it, and you were I've seen you, and I've been watching you online and all these other cool stuff, and you're just a creator, which is fantastic." So I was like, man, that's awesome. I've been creating content. I think around that time, I think I made another video about the DJI. Is it the DJI? It's the Osmo Pocket 3. So the Osmo Pocket was a device that I think I made that video right after or before, right before the prompter video. And I made a couple other videos with, just a little bit more consistent. And this individual saw that. And one thing I was telling a client during the consultation, clients are great. Like, clients will, can help you pay your mortgage. They'll help you put money in your pocket. It's fantastic for the now. And they can help you get your reps up. You can learn and grow as a creative. But the issue with client work is that you get stuck in a bubble. You get stuck in the rut of doing that thing that you don't really care about anymore. You're probably passionate about something new, and clients will have you doing the thing that they want you to do. They don't necessarily want you to grow, because if you grow, you will be worth more, and they probably don't want to pay you for what you're worth. And the point that I want to get across is I would have never gotten this opportunity with Elgato if I would have been sticking with client work. Granted, Elgato did not pay me for any of this. They're not paying me. They're not putting money in my pocket. They're not helping me pay my mortgage. But at the same time, I can't say that this opportunity of working with him and being recognized by a reputable creative content creator company, a company that helps creators, is astounding. However you say that word, is very cool. It's like, man, I got recognized for something that I did. What? I don't think I've ever gotten recognized for any of my client work. I helped produce a photo for Rick Ross. and I got to be careful with the way that I word this, but I took some photos for Rick Ross, and some of the images that I helped captured were used for advertisement. And I got some recognition, but I never ever got anything more than like likes, followers, or stuff like that. I never got like I did get a free beard oil from Rick Ross. Other than that, it was couldn't really do much with it. But I just want to say, like, I don't think clients doing client work as a creative will get you where you need to be. But also, brand our clients. So let's say, for example, if Elgato said, "Hey, we'll send you these products in like, I don't know, I have no idea. I'm just gonna say a number, $700 to do a video, and the video has to have X, Y, Z. It has to be this long. It has to have this. You have to say this. You have to include that." They become a client. Brands become a client. I have a creator friend who worked for a large social media platform, and she said, yeah, they essentially became like a client. Like she had to do specific things, had to post a specific way. The video duration had to be a specific length. They become a client. So I'm trying to find like a healthy balance of how do you create authentically for you. I still said it wrong, even though I said it twice. How do you just be honest with yourself and create for yourself without being restricted and still making money at the end of the day? Because that's really what it's all about. And that's where I am right now. I have people willing to drive miles and hours to sit down with me and have me film and produce their podcast. And when they leave, I edit their stuff and send it to them. But that takes a lot of time. Even the setup, even though my room is already set up, the making sure everything is good, that takes a lot of time and energy, to the point where I'm like, oh, man, I could have done a podcast. I could have filmed a video. I could have, started another YouTube channel. I could have, worked on my newsletter. I could have done a lot of things. And it's like, yeah, these clients are paying me, but at the same time, they're also paying me not to do me. Like the last video that I posted was 2 weeks ago. It has 1,200 views. It's a how to set up a video podcast, transforming any space, any bedroom into a podcast studio, whatever. And in that video, I said that I'm going to be making a video showcasing my room. And I did. I filmed it. I was able to get a DJI Osmo Pocket 3 from another creator to film a walkthrough of my studio space. But ask me, am I able to take the time to edit it properly and get it to y'all like a good quality, walkthrough? Because the video that I mentioned, the how to set up a video podcast, I got a lot of questions on Instagram, on TikTok. I got a lot of DMs from people, even comments where people, hey, can you show me how you did this? Hey, can you explain the auto pull better? Hey, I think you went really fast here. Can you show us how? And it's like, oh yeah, I can do a walkthrough. I'll do a better walkthrough. I'll do a live stream, but I can't sometimes because of client work. And going back to the point earlier, I was like, man, I really wish some of my friends were able to get in on this, where we could essentially create a team. But it's like, I don't think it'll ever work, because a lot of people aren't really passionate about podcast production. They're more so passionate about the bank account, So it's like, I'll try to get a friend to learn about podcast production, and, he or she will say, yeah, so I'm only getting paid what to do what? I'm like, man, this is not what it's about. Like, the ideal situation for me would be, I would love to hire somebody. I would love to hire somebody to come in, sit down, and just listen to me. Don't come with ideas. They can come with ideas, but they're going to be wrong. Okay. Most of the people don't know what they're talking about sometimes. I don't either, but I just want to make sure that my clients come in here and record. because it's a very easy, simple process. I already have it down packed. So I just need help with people helping me make it easy. Like I said, this is my home. So, hey, while I'm downstairs talking to my wife, can you just manage the switching? Make sure that everything is good. Put on your headphones. Make sure that sounds good and everything's not broken. That's what I would need. And then, like, uploading the files, checking the audio, making sure the audio levels are good, throwing the audio file into Auphonic, which is my audio editor of choice, my AI audio editor. It cleans up the audio really well. I never have any issues with Auphonic. Hey, if you want to support the podcast, go to gildormius.com/Auphonic or click the link in the description and sign up for Auphonic, and you'll be supporting this podcast. But yeah, like I would love to have a friend, or if if I were to clone myself, I would be posting my podcast on Instagram, on YouTube every day. But I just don't have the time to do that. But that's what I would want, like an assistant to just post my podcast behind the scenes every single day. Go live, even though or just go live and answer questions about the setup. But I really can't do that because this is like a home. And one thing I want to do over that I did in 2021, I think it was, I had my own studio, like a photography/podcast studio. I want to get another one and just have it like strictly for podcast production. Like that's the bread and butter right now. That's what's working. So if I had a friend who was interested in helping me with that, that'll be what I would want. But honestly, I'm good for now. So I'm going to keep all the money. I'm just going to keep this thing to myself right now till I get a bigger space, and then I'll feel more comfortable opening up the doors. Like I had 2 people come and shadow me already, but they have a life too. So it's kind of hard for them to continuously come back. I had one person come, and then another person came, but it's like they never came back. They want to, but it's just life, adulting, and also like I don't have clients coming every single week. But then the weeks that I do, I had one post. A friend of mine, she's like, "Hey, is this like are you just like posting old podcast episodes?" I'm like, "No, I'm gonna go live on IG just so y'all can see, hey, it's 9 a.m. and I have a podcast. And then I have another person coming at 11. Then I have another person coming in at 3. Like then you can go throughout the day and see, Jesus Christ, this guy had like 5 people podcasting in a day at his house. So the workflow is insane. It's exhausting sometimes. So I've been finding simpler ways to like simplify it. My computer is like a champ. It really helps me out a lot. Having 3 computers, it's probably the game changer for me. That really helps me out a lot, just expediting a lot of stuff. Computer A, we'll be doing this. Computer B, computer C, computer blue. Nobody got that. Hopefully you did. Let's see what else I want to talk about here. Working with creators and non-creators. So some of my clients aren't creators. They don't create. They don't have any creative bone. They just have money and they pay me, which is totally fine. Those clients are easy to work with, but they could be really annoying. They don't really understand the creative process. They don't really appreciate pretty much anything. Like a non-creative person will come into my studio and say, "Oh my gosh, this camera is so clean. The video looks so good and it's so amazing. And wow, this is that professional mic. Like so the microphone is going to sound really good." But that's not really what it is. It's theoretically this. This is how I think about it. It's like a person going to a contractor and saying, "Oh my gosh, that's a really cool hammer. You must know how to build houses, or the houses must be really cool, or the houses must be perfect because you have a a Milwaukee hammer. No, the cameras and mics are just tools. It's really the operator, the person who has to make sure that you're getting like really good video and audio quality. Like it's the operator. Have respect for the person behind the camera, behind the mixer board. That's what matters. And creatives respect it and understand it, and they come with some like genuine love and appreciation. So I get like a lot of different DMs when I post things. I'll get, man, I love your behind the scenes, brother. Like, you're killing it. I love this. I have some questions about XYZ. Non-creative people, I love the blue chairs. Or they'll say something like, they'll have like a critique. They'll say like, oh, the wood wall looks so good. I would remove the nails. I would do this. And I'm just like, okay. Like, clients are still coming to pay me though. Like, I've had like a lot of people come and tell me like, oh my gosh, you should be embarrassed. Like, one of your wood walls is like very crooked. I was like, no, they're like multiple of them are crooked. I was like, it's kind of a pain in the butt to install it simply because it's a concrete, and the woods were they were reclaimed woods, so they weren't really straight to begin with. And I really just wanted to get this thing started. I didn't want to have perfection get in the way, but it did for a while. And I was like, man, I hate this wall. But also, it's like, I did it though. I did it. And I know I can make it better. And I've built maybe 3 other walls for 3 other clients, and they're perfect. Their walls are actually, the last wall that I did was for a YouTuber creator friend of mine, great friend of mine, Ronald Wayne. I did his wall, and it was probably the best one that I ever made. Like, it was not only the best, but the quickest. Like, I think I did it in a day. Not even a day. I think it was a couple hours, and I still had time to spare. But yeah, like, non-creative people tend to be very judgmental and very just non-appreciative of the art, whereas creative people understand the struggle. They give you grace. They just understand things, and they're really pleasant to work with. Yeah, I mean, this whole podcasting world has like changed, right? I remember there was this app that was on the iPhone that enabled you to publish a podcast without having a website, because back in the day, you needed a place to host the files. So I had to get a website. That was like one of my main reasons. My main reason why for having a website back in the day, not for being not for being a photographer, but actually my second website was my photography page. But my first website was not for like hosting photos or videos or trying to get clients. It was a place so that I can host my podcast. I think it had like maybe, what was it, like 8 gigs of space online. So I'd have like certain podcasts, and I'd have to like delete, you can't have it too long because you have a certain amount of bandwidth. You have a certain amount of storage space online. So yes, my first website was not for business. It was just for podcasting. And then eventually I started using my Squarespace and using that for one of my podcasts I had at the time, the Let's Chill podcast. People would never understand that. And now you can just create a podcast with Anchor, Spotify for podcasts. That's what it's called, for free. And they host the files for you. There's a lot of other, things to be careful about in regards to using Spotify, because, you don't, I don't know. They kind of make it really annoying to work with. Like, if you want to leave Spotify and move somewhere else, I've heard that there could be a pain. But yeah, let's just get back to me and not Spotify. One last thing I want to talk about is, even though I love content creation, I love, YouTube. I watch YouTube more than anything. In another life update, I have removed every subscription from my monthly payments, except the ones you get for free with whatever internet provider or telephone provider you get. So with me and my wife, we get HBO. Is it HBO or Max? We get Max now for free, and I think we get Amazon Prime for free because we have Amazon. So we're not paying for those, but we removed everything else. And I think altogether we're saving like $213 a month. I moved over from, we just like watched this. Okay, so right now, the only subscription we have are, like I said, Max, Prime. I have Crunchyroll, which is an anime subscription. I like to watch anime. What else? We have, I think that's it. Yeah, that's like the only one. Okay, and YouTube. That's why I thought about the subscription stuff. So YouTube Premium. And I split that with two other people, two friends. They're on my YouTube Premium, and I'm like, hey, I'll get y'all on my family plan. Y'all just pay me like whatever a month. And we've been doing that for about 2 years now. And it's been great and cool people. And one of the new additions to my setup is my NAS, my network attached storage. And I have been able to create my own media server. So the movies that I own, like the DVDs, the Blu-rays, I've been able to, because my wife has like a lot of old TV shows she loves. And some of the stuff that we've purchased, like digital movies we've bought, over the years, I put them in my NAS, and I'm able to use a program called Plex to watch them anytime, anywhere. It looks just like Netflix. So imagine downloading your own movies that you own, of course, that you paid for, and watching them anytime, anywhere. And it looks just like Netflix. You have the captions, you could change the language. It's pretty dope. So it's in my studio space because I also use it to edit off of. It has a RAID configuration. So it has 4 bays, and I currently have 3 hard drives in there. So that really just helps me with backing up storage. Backing up, sending photos and videos to clients. It's stays on. It doesn't shut off. So I can have a library or a photo album I'm working on. I can send a link to my client. They can see it, they can view it, and they can download from it. So it's amazing. That has really helped me a lot because one of my biggest issues was just storage. Working with podcasting, like people talking for hours, and then with the A10 Mini Extreme recording every camera angle and audio source, it's a massive file. I mean, it takes up a lot of space. So I would dump, after recording, I'll dump the video files to my NAS. So if I needed help, again, going back to that, I would have somebody literally do that for me, back up all of my podcasts to my NAS. But I get around to it, and it's totally fine. But definitely, when I get my own, when I get my second office again, that's going to be a job for someone where, hey, go into the SSD and transfer the video files to the NAS. That's it. That's all I ask for. But yeah, that's pretty much the life update. Me and my wife were fantastic. Speaking of my wife, me and her were having this discussion the other day about, I was like, man, I'm so lucky to have found her. And she's like, yeah, you are. I'm like, well, you could at least be humble about it. And, I was like, man, I'm really, grateful for her because she has helped me realize a lot of my dreams, and a lot of the things that I do is because of my wife. And we were talking about a mutual friend that we have. And I was talking to her about, like, man, I remember back in 2008, This person was trying to get me to work at, this startup company. And, he was promising to like have me get paid really well. During the breaks, they play PlayStation. I'm not a PlayStation guy either. I'm an Xbox guy. So I was like, okay. He's like, yeah, we play Call of Duty. We have a ping pong table. We have casual Fridays. And my whole thing was like, okay, engaged, 18. I was 18 at the time. And I said, where's this job going to be in like, 5, 6 years? Oh no, this company just started. Trust me, dude, it's going to be great. And like, even though I was engaged, I was thinking more alongs to how does this benefit my wife? Like, how does this push the needle forward, not only for me, but for my wife? And I declined the position or the opportunity to apply. And he's like, come on, man. Like, I got our other friend in here. And again, I'm just like, all right, this is going to be really cool. Like now 2 of my friends are working there. They carpooled together, you know, it's a really cool idea. But then I just kept thinking, how's this, sorry about that bump. How is that going to help my wife? How's this going to help me get to where I want to be? And I told him, no. Fast forward a couple of years, actually fast forward a year, the company went under, just and then it's not to laugh. This is serious. I stayed at this grocery job and then I transitioned to become, where I am now. But I've been working this grocery job or this grocery company for about like 14 years now. And I was able to accomplish a lot within this company. I was able to then bring my wife in with my experience and knowledge. And it's like, man, my wife really, was the cornerstone of a lot of decisions that I was making, at a young age. Like we got married really young, but we were dating and I always took everything that I was doing seriously with her because I want to make sure that she has a life of abundance, not spoiling her, but I want to make sure that she's good. And by proxy, I don't know if I'm using that term right. I feel like it's right, but I feel like she does the same, and we're able to like create like a nice ecosystem of giving and feeding and like supporting. And I think maybe a couple of years into this company, I was able to get her in. I think I said that, and she has a career. She's a microbiologist by schooling, trade, what you want to say. And I was able to help her accomplish a lot within the company that we work with. And it's just like, yeah, I'm always thinking about how does this benefit her? And with my studio space, she's been able to feed into my dream and help me get the things that I need in here. And we were talking and she's like, you're really lucky. Like I was saying earlier, she's like, you're really lucky to have me because if you look at your peers or your other friends who are, trying to do the things that you're doing around the same time you were doing it, where are they? And what's different from you and them? I was like, nothing. She's like, but what's the different things? I was like, I don't know. What do you mean? She's like, they don't have a supportive person in their corner. They don't have somebody who truly believes in them. And that really just made me realize, wow, the leg up that I have is not that I watch YouTube all the time. It's not that I'm extremely passionate. I mean, of course, but it's also the support that my wife gives me, the love that she gives me. That's what drives me. Waking up in the morning, super tired from a shoot, super tired from work. And then I have my wife really just helping me out, cooking breakfast, communicate with clients, getting the room ready or the house ready for clients, putting equipment in the truck, helping me charge equipment, helping me, schedule things. She's really like the game changer. She's been always involved. And I just wanted to say that because it's really great. I just really wish she learned how to edit. That's the only thing, but that's not her ministry. That's not the thing that she's into. But all right, y'all, it's been almost an hour. Jesus, I gotta go to bed. I have a Zoom call at 9. That's not healthy. Guys, don't do that. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for listening. If you love this podcast, check the links in the description to support it. I also started a Patreon. Links in the description for that. I'll be posting more on there. Video podcast, more behind the scenes stuff. So if you're interested, check it out. If you love this video, if you love this podcast, check out my YouTube channel. I have a lot of insightful video hands-on with the studio space, and you'll be able to see it. And yeah, enjoy it. So have a nice one, and I'll see y'all later.